Three.
Rick? Yeah, no, the countdown is done, Rick. How are you doing?
Good. The countdown is done. I know. I was saying three because you said I have a dog there, and I said I have three dogs. I wasn't counting down. It's just telling you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to the Cafe Open.
Where are you?
I'm at Lake Beastino at my friend Aaron and Ralph's house and taking care of their three labs, mother, daughter, grandfather, and their cat. You know how much I love cats, but
Right, but
willing to do it for a friend.
for people like me, where is that? Are you somewhere in the United States? Where are you?
Good point. Mars.
Well, I knew that.
No, it's in Louisiana, Mark. It's just about, I'd say maybe 30 minutes east of Shreveport, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you're in New York today? Yeah, I see you are. I see your apartment. I see your co-op.
I am, but we're leaving to pick up our friend John McDaniel. He's a radio DJ out in Seattle. And there's a big convention that happens every year in Atlantic City. So he comes and stays with us, and then we drive to AC, which is what we're going to do tomorrow. But you ready to start, everybody? Everybody got their coffee and stuff like that. The baristas will keep serving you during the show. But are we ready?
We are, but we got to, ring that bell so we're ready.
I'll start with a PSA.
I just like to hear the bell.
I'm going to start with a PSA because I don't know if
Oh, gosh.
you know what? No, it's about colonoscopies. I've arranged for my second colonoscopy. I had one 6 years ago.
Good.
I'm having a new one, a second one in November, and I just want to say it's important. There's like a 1 in 10,000 chance that you could have a perforation, but that's very rare, and it's an important thing to do. Have you had a colonoscopy, Rick Rose?
No, I haven't, but September is National.
I was thinking, what
Stick
is
your
he
finger up
thinking
your-
about? A colonoscopy is the
What?
hose. It's the hose. It's the little camera.
I know what it is. I know, and it makes sure you don't have a tear in what, your intestine or your colon, probably?
It looks for polyps because polyps can become cancerous.
I'm just worried about, my hole, because sometimes they go up there in September, especially for men our age. I thought this was about colon
It is about.
cancer.
It is
Not
about
colon cancer, prostate cancer. Where?
No,
Well, I'm
my
thinking
God, no.
prostate.
It's about colon cancer. You don't need a colonoscopy to check your prostate. Your boyfriend can
I
do that.
know, you just need a finger, and that's going to happen in September. They don't know. In September is when that's all happening. So you should do it anytime, but that's good, Mark. I like the PSA. Let's get down to world news. Lots going on.
Yep, your turn. You're going to start.
What? There's a lot going on in the world. Oh, I'll start. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Iraq. I think this dog has like a frog or something in its mouth. Oh, no, it's a pine cone. I got scared. Anyway, we're going to talk about the war, and I know you're talking about it. But in the meantime, the day after, we start, doing air raids and all that stuff going in Iraq, and some good positive things to help the people over there, too. The New York Post, in your own backyard, its cover story is about the squeegee man, or the squeegee man returning to the streets. That there's tons of men, the squeegees cleaning windows and interrupting traffic and stuff, trying to make money so the economy's all bad. That was their cover story. And of course, in the story, they say, of course, the gentleman on our cover isn't using the New York News as a squeegee because that costs $1.25 and it's not worth it. Anyway,
Is that your story?
that's my story. Yeah.
By the way, the sink's off, but it's okay because it's only perfect when you're at home. You're traveling, or you're probably using their Wi-Fi. Are you using the Wi-Fi at your friend's house?
I don't know what's going on, but as long as you can hear me. So so Iraq, let's talk about it. I mean, it's big stuff going on.
Yeah, ISIS. I've been on this story for like a month because I was reading about how all these Iraqi Christians are being, persecuted. And just first of all, I think the biggest military blunder in my lifetime was the invasion of Iraq. I think it was an insane thing to do. I think it has unleashed all of this madness and this violence and this murder. And Dick Cheney is a war criminal. But it's too late. We broke it, and it's really seriously broken. But now this ISIS, this terrorist group that are really, really vicious, I will not pray for them because they are vicious, vicious killer motherfuckers. And prayer is not going to do a thing for them. But they're killing, they're slaughtering people. They're into slaughtering, and they've already killed thousands of people. But they've got this small religious minority now stuck up on a mountain, and finally Obama had to drop humanitarian aid, but also military strikes because they got to be cleared out so these people can get out. But they want to kill him. They want to either starve him to death. And the thing what they did with the Christians too was they said you can convert to Islam, peace be upon him, or we'll kill you. I mean, those are the options. And it's such a. I think I said this before. It's like converting. What does that mean? Oh yes, now I'm Muslim. So that how authentic is that? It's just vicious and violent. And I'm so always so sad that we ever went into that country because Saddam Hussein was a a vicious tyrant, but he kept that goddamn country together. I'll tell you that. They would all be a lot better off with Saddam Hussein in power, and so would we. No comment? Are you pondering it? Are you thinking it through?
No, I agree. No. I mean, we thought the repercussions, that we were pulling out and everything was going to be fine. A war that was senseless, a war that was used to avoid what really happened at the bombing of the World Trade Centers. Remember, that's how he was able to build his support as president at the time. To blame Hassan, which had no tie-in, as we know, there was no connect. And now we're paying for the price now. What's going to happen in 10 years? Will we still be paying for the price? And do we put their own people at risk because we thought it was something we needed to do? Just parts I don't agree. I don't think Saddam should still be in power. It's not my decision. I'm not, Iraqi. I don't make the choice of that country. I can vote for my president here and make changes as I can. And I'm sure they can too, from uprisings or however they want to do it. So I can't comment on that, but 100% right. It was a senseless war, and we're still paying the price. And, Mark, my whole thing is about images. It's like biblical or the Quran or whatever you want, whatever it is. Just the idea of these people trapped on a mountain. It's as sweeping as, Noah or Moses or something. It's a story of religious, power. It's just the imagery is very poignant and just really tears on my heart. Anyway, let's change the subject. It's a deep subject, and every day something new. Now the Kurds have been given guns. You probably saw that. They've been handed firearms to fight with their fellow people, and I don't know how it's all going to play out, but it's going to be a big week in world news for sure.
Very big.
Taking it to the States, the decline of the Tea Party, I think it's happening. Victoria Jackson moved into that little county in Tennessee, former star of Saturday Night Live. I used to think she was funny until I found out she hated the queers. And then she goes and thinks she's going to win one of 2 county seats. And, of course, she lost to her 2 Republican candidates. She ran as an independent on the principles of the Tea Party, of course, because there really isn't a Tea Party, might I point out, folks who think they are a Tea Party. And she lost. And in the meantime, it also happened there. There was another election in Tennessee where the Tea Party candidate that was being supported quite heavily by people like, a lot of media people supporting him, lost the yesterday. That was Scott Carr. He got a lot of support from Laura Ingraham and all those types of folks. He lost his bid to Lamar. I forget Lamar's last name.
Alexander.
What is Lamar's last name? Anyway, that was a big change. Alexander. Big change there. Yeah, so that was big. Tea Party failing there. And then did you see about the Democratic gubernatorial pick? Has never been in politics. Guy named, I love this, Charlie Brown, running as Democratic candidate. Who's big, and as a Democrat, his goal is the number one goal is to get Bibles back into the schools.
He's a Democrat?
Interesting.
You said he's a Democrat?
The Democrat, he is. And the party's a little worried because their candidate they put forth in 2012 actually was connected with some hate crime groups or some, anti-something groups, and they had to depose him before the actual election. So it's interesting. They've got a candidate. Oh, and this candidate, did you see his comment? I think it was yesterday, saying we need to take the current governor, Bill Haslam, I think is his name, and we need to put him in an electric chair and let him fry at least a little bit so I can see his pain. That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's their gubernatorial candidate, and he's a Democrat.
Now on the Victoria Jackson thing, because we do.
That's it. That's what I got in Tennessee.
I know, but we can comment on each other's things. Victoria Jackson, she puts out YouTube videos. And she's so stupid. She's so stupid. It's one thing to be really right wing, but I miss people like William F. Buckley, who I thought was extremely intelligent and made the case as an intellectual, as a conservative intellectual. But the Tea Party is to me symbolized by people like Sarah Palin and Sarah Palin makes Victoria Jackson makes Sarah Palin look like a towering intellectual. She's just a fucking moron. And okay, I'm glad she lost. I'm glad she lost.
Ding ding. Let's talk about another comedian you're very fond of. Hit
Yeah.
that bell. I know you want to talk about this.
Yeah, I think it'll be my last thing. Is that as I was just reading yesterday, because I guess I do read the news and the Huffington Post and all that, but um, Joan Rivers, and I got so pissed at her that I posted a thing about her and on my website, and she's just, I know she's Jewish, okay, fine, but she was asked about the conflict in Gaza, and her comments were like really vicious about the Palestinians deserving to die, and they'd been warned, and they'd been warned to get out of their houses by Israel, and only the idiots stayed. So good thing the idiots are dead. I'm paraphrasing her, and she expressed no concern at all for the Palestinian children. And first of all, I mean, we could do an entire show on Israel because I am not a blind supporter of Israel, and I don't think our country should be, but we are. We're like this insanely blind supporter of everything Israel does. Their foreign policy is more important to many of our politicians than our own. And
money, 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 money,
well,
money,
and
yes.
money and constant brainwashing. It's not just money, and not only that. Boy, this is
True.
I got to keep talking about Joan Rivers, but. Did you know that one of the main reasons that the U.S. is so pro-Israel is because of evangelical Christians? They believe Israel has to.
I don't know that.
Yes, it's very true. Look, research it. They believe that Israel must exist in order for Jesus to come back. And when Jesus comes back,
interesting.
And what's weird to me is that when Jesus comes back, he's killing all the Jews. He's going to pull an ISIS, and whatever Jews don't convert, they're dying. They're going to hell. So it's just weird to me. It's this weird relationship. But anyways, Joan Rivers, who I saw last year at the Laurie Beachman, she had all her jokes taped on the floor, and she walked it. She phoned in the performance, which is what she does. She's 81. But she was really cruel and vicious, and I thought, it's time to boycott this old woman. She could have grown old gracefully and just shut the fuck up 20 years ago. But now she says all these. She made some comments about trans people not long ago, and now she's saying I just please, and the gays give her a pass, and I guess that's one thing that pisses me off, and I'm saying that is. Stop going to her shows and thinking, oh, she's done AIDS charities for 30 years. We love you, Joan. Fuck you, Joan Rivers. She's a bigot and a racist, and it's time to just say it and end her career now. So that's my Joan Rivers thing.
I agree. Oh my God, she just walked in the door.
How can you tell? She looks like a fucking mannequin. I thought the documentary on her was fascinating, and I liked her after I saw it. But she just needs to get off the stage, if nothing else. Just get off the stage. And
I know, I agree. She needs to get off the world stage. Where's she to comment on those kind of things? And who's the media to pick those stories up? And then she was on CNN not too long ago, walked up. She's no Elaine Stritch. That's all I'm saying. I saw her live on stage, as I've seen Elaine Stritch, God rest her soul, live on stage. And I prefer Elaine Stritch. Any homosexual should prefer Elaine over the catty bitterness of Joan. And, in that documentary, it was a good one. As a matter of fact, part of it was shot, Mark, 20 miles from my mom's house. You may recall the scene, and you've been up toward my mom's house at a Indian casino there. Lockwood is there. And remember, it was cold, and she didn't want to go in, and blah, blah, blah. And then she offended a deaf person in the audience, or some of those married to a deaf man. She's just very insensitive and very unkind. I'm not a big fan of hers either. So I'll boycott her. I'm with you.
Cool. Now, do you have a final?
Yeah, ring the bell. Yeah, Target. I took final comments. One is Target. There's a boycott on if you want. If you're one of those that's a NOW or NOM or whatever it is, the organization in support of marriage. I love that they name themselves National Organization on Marriage or whatever it's called, when they're really about opposite sex marriage. They're not in support of marriage. They're in support of opposite sex marriage, but they're claiming the word marriage because to them, marriage can only mean one thing. And of course, this week, Target was a corporation that wrote a letter in Chicago in support of gay marriage and came out as a supporter of same-sex marriage. We see a lot of these things going on in the corporate world and stuff as we all pose for another chance in front of the Supreme Court to make it, the law of the land. So that's interesting. So they called for a big boycott. Also, I just want to comment. I'm going to Wisconsin next week, Mark. I leave on Wednesday, and lots of stuff happening there. The election in Wisconsin for gubernatorial will be interesting because if Walker wins, Scott Walker, that is, the gentleman that killed all the unions in Wisconsin, friend of my family, of course. If he wins, he's really positioned well for a 2016 run as the Republican candidate for president. But they're coming back. There have been people since 2011 when Act 10 was passed. When he passed that law in Wisconsin, which, by the way, I didn't know the Supreme Court of Wisconsin just upheld it again. Yeah, kind of got lost in all the attention of all the gay marriage lawsuits. But anyway, there have been people going to the Capitol since 2011. If we remember images from Madison, Wisconsin, and people arrested and, lots of protesting there. There are still people that go every day. And yesterday there was a little uprising and they sang "We Shall Overcome." And Scott Walker will no longer be our president. Governor. They're contending. He won a recall, one of 3 gubernatorial recalls in the history of the U.S. And by winning that, he kind of placed himself in a good position to be resilient. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the politics of Wisconsin play out. I kind of like that finally Wisconsin's in the game again. Wisconsin for years was Eugene McCarthy and the Progressive Party, and the first state, people don't know really, was the first state to abandon laws against sleeping with the same sex. But very liberal, progressive state. We'll see what happens if it goes back that way, or if Walker keeps his control. He's like, the Wizard of Oz, behind the scenes, controlling everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. By the way, speaking of marriage,
all right.
Well, it is interesting to me, this Sixth Circuit case that they're predicting.
Big.
They're predicting that it's going to go against the marriage equality opponents, and that they're going to say it's up to the states. That'll be interesting to see what happens, because you can assume that the gays are going to flip. They're just going to totally flip out. It is going to have to be decided by the Supreme Court. But I don't think that people should assume that the Supreme Court is going to, because that Windsor ruling was very very narrow. We've had a lot of victories in the courts, but it was very narrow, and they could say it's up to the states. All we said was where anyways, we're done with the podcast, but it's going to be really...
No. That's a really good subject, Mark. I think Bader's hanging in for that vote. I think that's partly why she's there. But I also agree with you. We talked about it when we had our guest Rob on another show at the top of the year, another show that you and I used to host, and we talked about the backlash when the marriage thing happened a year ago, and what's it mean? And it may be the chance for those that are the naysayers as justices to say, okay, no, we're against it. So, yeah. And then what happens? So it's interesting. It's all going to play out interesting. Sorry, these dogs are running around. They want to play fetch this morning, Mark, and I'm just not in the mood.
I like
Sorry
the
if they're a little loud.
I like the dogs. I wish your connection was better, but it's not a big deal. So listen, I'm off for 4 days. I'm going to pamper myself. I'm getting a signature shave, an hour, and exfoliation, and all this stuff. Not today, of course. I'm getting it in AC. But that's the deal.
Good. You have a wonderful trip.
Are you there?
Nice.
You hang up on me? Is a dog in your... What are you looking down at?
I'm here.
Is there a dog down there?
Oh, yes, the dogs. I'm trying to push a bone off my leg. But go ahead. I'm listening.
It's part of you. How can you... Never mind. I'm being...
It's a pint. I don't know.
So, yeah.
Here they come. No, it's not. That would hurt. Go ahead.
Next weekend, we can do this with me on Vivian's balcony. That'll be fun. On Long Beach, so...
Yeah, and we'll talk to Vivian, a guest on our former show. Do you like how I keep referencing our former show?
I know you do, and I'm like over that. All of that. I'm like, I'm never going to make a reference.
We were somebody once. We still are. We're holding on to our celebrity on YouTube by a narrow margin.
Okay, I'm hanging up because you're getting really fuzzy now. Have a good weekend.
Why? I talk about my exes. You talk about your exes.
No. I mean, visually, you're just
states
a mess.
We used to live in.
You're pixelated to death, Rick. We got to go before.
Okay, bye. See y'all.
Bye.